We have a news item with this one, actually, which we haven't recorded since this dropped. But Obed actually filed a one-time FIFA-approved switch from representing the United States to Mexico. Obed is going to represent Eltree at the international level, which, you know, I'm a USMNT fan. But if you listen to Obed talk about his motivation for this switch, which I wrote up a lot his quotes from that interview and posted him on. You can read it on MLSsoccer.com. But Obed was brought up in Eltree fan. His dad actually, did you know this? His dad played at the Liga MX Youth Academy for the team that Raul used to play for and won a couple of Liga MX Golden Boots for. So that's kind of a random connection. But so Obed's dad was a very good youth player, and as I understand it, didn't end up pursuing a professional career because he wanted to be more of a family man. And they ended up relocating to Anchorage, Alaska, where Obed was brought up, like immersed in the game, but also as like a diehard Mexico fan. That was the team that he loved, that he watched with his dad, that he wanted to play for, that he dreamed of playing for. And the way he described it, it was like, now that I have this opportunity to kind of live out this dream, like it's just something he said. He literally used the phrase like following my heart. So I can totally rock with that. Like that's a good decision for Obed, and I'm excited to see what he does for Eltree, because another thing he mentioned was that they're in the midst of a bit of a generational change on that team, and they need new young blood to like take over take the torch to the next generation. And it would be cool if Obed established himself as a player who can do that for them.
Yeah, no,
I fully support that.
I love it. I love that he switched, because at the end of the day, like that is kind of the whole thing, right? Like you're representing the team that you feel the most connected to, that you feel the most allegiance to. And, he said that he didn't want to initially switch or commit to Mexico at the first because he came up in the U.S. He came up in the Sounders Academy. He came up in the U.S. soccer system, and they afforded him a lot of opportunity, and so he respected that and wanted to let that run its course. But it had kind of come to be the time where he needed to make a decision, and he literally said it had nothing more to do than with it, just what was in his heart, and I love that. But if you're gonna look at it from a tactical, I guess, standpoint, like it's a great time to switch to Mexico, because their team's kind of in shambles, and he's a great young player. They've had a kind of a failure to bring up young talent up into their national team. So this gives them an opportunity to completely change that narrative, and I don't know. I love it for him. And he was also asked, later in his career, would he want to go play in Mexico, if that was ever like a part of his decision making? And he said it wasn't a part of his decision making, but if he were to, he would want to go play for the club that his dad played for, which I thought was really cool.
That would be cool for him. As for the how the agenda is doing, I mean, I think strengthened, and the reason I think so is that he was playing back in the double pivot in this game, which we had talked quite a bit about, Noah, how much more we liked what we were seeing from him playing higher up the field at that right mid spot. And I was kind of thinking of it before this game, that I was kind of fully converted to the look of Christian back in the double pivot and Obed playing at right mid, and I was hoping they would keep doing that. But I think what he showed in this game is that he appears to be developing in a way where he can make a similar impact on the game and still make plays playing that deeper lying midfield spot, and you don't necessarily need him at right mid. So a double pivot of him and JP with Christian at right mid, if you want for a particular matchup, you want what Christian brings at that spot, and you can drop Obed back there. He can still make plays. He can still impact the game, and he was all over the highlight reel in this game. He created a couple of dangerous chances. He gets a secondary assist right on that goal, so he gets on the stat sheet again. I think the Obed agenda is as strong as ever and decently strengthened by this game.
Yeah, incredibly strengthened. It's still so obvious he has a stamp on every single game that he's been playing in. Like, he is involved in all of the final products that turn out well. I don't think this was his best game, but I still think that like obviously he created the chance that led to a goal, so like you can't ding him for that. But I'm going to ask you this, Ari, and maybe some people won't like it. I'll give my take first, but do we think that Brian Schmetzer has done a good job developing Obed? I think giving him the confidence by putting him in an attacking position and allowing him to feel like he has way more freedom to move on the ball and give him the confidence to show that he can create these chances was a really good thing for his game.
That's actually a good point. That is good coaching by Schmetz to realize that he could be deployed there to positive effect. And yeah, like you said, having the confidence to keep running him out there and letting him develop new skills. I think you do have to credit Schmetz for that. Yeah. And I think Obed has become a lot more multifaceted because of that, or at least he's showing how multifaceted he really is in these last few weeks. And it was another standout game for him, even playing a different position again.